Ma chi è?
È lui, è Vogel.
E perché?
Werner, care to explain what is going on here?
On nights like these, it's not unusual for some attendees to get a little exuberant. It's part of the appeal. Unfortunately, it appears things have gotten out of hand. Yes, some are more prone to bend the rules of morality.
That's murder. I doubt there's anything left to bend. Why did you not tell me immediately? We were chatting about trivial matters for some time.
If I'm completely honest, Sherlock, I've consumed a rather potent cocktail of substances. My attention slips and drifts.
Bel modo di
But I'm
dire
glad
quando
I
si è
thought of
imbriagato.
you.
You sent me a disguise.
Oh dear, did I? Well, since I found the body, Mr. Manchios has agreed that you can investigate the matter. I promise my mind will behave itself going forward.
All right. Then pull yourself together, Werner. What is it about these nights that you were so eager to share with me?
Well, they're not always in the evenings, but they are in the shadows. People gather to test their boundaries in a safe and consensual atmosphere.
Proprio
Often with
consensuale.
more stains than your
Su
typical
omicidi
crime
sarà
scene.
stato proprio
But that is the
consensuale.
point. Who are we to judge?
No, ma
I
infatti
suppose that's fair.
il colpo
What
alla
about today,
testa
then? Was anything
dimostra che
different?
non è
Well,
a
I
posto
was invited as a
resistente.
special guest. It was supposed to be a time of both divine and carnal pleasures. A scratch for every unconventional itch.
I imagine you're reeling from your shattered expectations.
On the contrary, there is still spectacle, stimulation, and release, merely in a different form. I like to let life entertain me.
Or death. Mr. Manchios is the owner of the manor, yes?
And the host of Cordona's most memorable parties. He promises even the ugliest guest a partner for the night. And for the ones with more unconventional tastes, Mr. Manchios provides other services.
What a caring person.
You cannot begin to imagine.
How did you discover the body? In between guzzles of alcohol?
I was set to perform in a fecundity rite with Fabio and came to inquire further. It was a staged ritual where he was to play the principle of life.
And the rehearsal was unsuccessful?
Who knows? I found him alone on the altar, his blood dripping to the floor.
And then?
Then I called Mr. Manchios. He was panicking, so I told him about you. We left the room and locked the door. Then we were
Filling time?
waiting for you was stressful. We indulged in some simple comforts. Overindulged, perhaps.
Allora, chi se mi ricorda come si chiama quel
Alcibiade.
personaggio? Alcibiade, ma Dodi, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, ma è uguale, è identico, è proprio identico.
Eh sì, è la sua reincarnazione
È
del
identico,
1800.
cioè non ci sono differenze, è proprio lui. Da oggi io lo chiamo Alcibiade.
Were you well acquainted with Fabio, the victim?
Everyone knew Fabio, or wanted to. His beauty was the talk of the island. Too handsome to go unnoticed. He was magnetic. Fat wallets fought for the privilege of having him. He offered the pleasures of performance, and more.
What about the fertility ritual? There was something about Fabio being a principle of life.
Fabio was supposed to portray the beauty of life's origin. Flowers, oil. Not this travesty that seems straight out of the Inquisition.
So this ritual is not the fertility rite. What was it meant to look like?
It begins with a woman lying naked in a flower bed on the altar. She represents Gaia, the earth. As I cover her in oils, we chant for the principle. As our calls reach a climax, Fabio enters and copulates with her. After he finishes, I stab her with a dagger. That part's just pretend, of course.
But the intercourse is not?
I did not expect you to be such a prude. Are you a virgin? It is nothing to be ashamed of, but it would explain the color of your cheeks. The fertility rite
Solo che
marks
non
the
si
start
vedono,
of our
capiamo la
festivities.
maschera.
The principle of life is beautiful, intimate, essential. It must not be stopped.
E lui ha occhiali
Yes, it appears
speciali.
that someone did stop it. What about the naked woman? Can you tell me
Ha
anything
fatto la
about her?
battuta, ha fatto
yes,
le guance
Letizia.
rosse sulla
She's one
maschera.
of Fabio's compatriots and a
Ah,
performance.
vero.
I haven't seen her today, actually.
When you discovered the body, was the door open?
No, it was locked. Oh, that reminds me. It's a minor detail, but the first time I came to speak to Fabio, I left without entering, having been unable to open the door.
You didn't have the key?
No, I had it. Don't look at me like that. I was mostly sober. I suspect there was a key in the other side of the door, blocking the lock.
That detail may very well be major, Werner. Well done. So you returned later only to find the lock was not blocked?
Correct. After an hour had passed, I tried again and was able to unlock the door. That's when I discovered poor, handsome Fabio.
The police remain unaware of this tragic event?
Some of them may be hiding behind their masks. They conceal many things. But we didn't want the authorities to create more problems. Besides, after a few cocktails, their incompetence will have soared to new heights.
How do you know I even want the case?
I promised you relaxation. If there's one thing I know about you, Sherlock, it's that nothing soothes you more than a good mystery.
Che peccato, per un attimo ho pensato dobbiamo risolvere un caso a stanza chiusa, invece no, semplicemente
Pia Cleopatra.
semplicemente la chiave che abbiamo trovato nel camerino stava posizionata dietro la porta in modo tale da non far aprire la porta a questo deficiente. Quando poi l'assassino ha deciso di uscire, ha preso la chiave, l'ha messa nel camerino e se ne è uscito in scioltezza. Perfetto. Matista. Ok, quindi è lei la donna.
La donna?
La donna, la principale sospettata in questo momento. Questa è la stanza.
Abbiamo motivi per dubitare di lei.
Ah beh, lei è l'unica che era presente in questa stanza per il rituale, immagino.
Ma ti sta bene una risposta così semplice?
No, aspetta, dobbiamo approfondire. Ho detto per il momento è lei la prima della lista. Ma semplicemente perché non conosciamo ancora tutta la storia, i dettagli della storia.
Ma ti sta bene?
Scusa, vedo. Madonna, di sta scherzando. Vi parlavo seriamente, sta bene la storia della puttana.
The wounded person was here at the same time. A bloody
Ci sta,
handprint on an armchair.
Sì, ci sta.
Proprio perché era impercettibile che...
A person leaned against the doorframe. They left a smudged trail of blood. There appear to be no further traces leading to the altar.
So, Sherry, do you have any ideas about the case?
Perhaps.
Ah,
I
veramente
think I can
possiamo
deduce what
risolvere.
happened here.
Perché non
Sono d'accordo perché questa è la posizione del coltello.
Sì. Anche perché lui non poteva, già era stato colpito in testa. Se me l'hanno portato qui dove l'ho colpito in testa proprio perché. Vabbè, sì, è vero. Non lui, ma l'assassino. Perfetto.
The bottle was used as a weapon during a scuffle in the smoking lounge. Then, to ensure no one would interrupt, the murderer locked the door. The unconscious body of the victim was moved to the altar room. Once the body was on the altar, the murderer thrust the dagger into the victim's heart. Symbols were drawn with the blood. The wardrobe was used to hide the bloodied robe from anyone's eyes. The killer washed himself and took a clean robe from the hanger before leaving.
Are you all right? You're on the floor, not moving.
I think I know what happened here.
Ok, è un problema grave che la polizia non lo sappia,
Vabbè.
Cioè i festini attirano spesso la polizia, quindi se ci trovano il cardino, oppure per esempio sanno che noi abbiamo scoperto l'omicidio e non gliel'abbiamo detto.
I'm starting to put the pieces together.
Fabio was stabbed.
But only after being knocked out in the next room and placed here. I do not yet know why.
So, who's responsible?
Well, it was one person working alone, and the murderer has now donned a robe. He or she could be hiding in plain sight. We have lost time, Werner, but your discretion may prove to be a benediction after all. The murderer had to have access to this room. After the crime, he used his own key to lock the door. So, who had the key to the altar room?
I'm not sure. As a special guest, I was provided one by Mr. Manchios. He should be able to tell you of any others.
Where can I find him?
Most likely in the main hall, entertaining his guests. He has a mask with golden stars. You can't miss him. But please be discreet. We don't want to risk disturbing the revelry.
Cioè, c'è un assassino tra di noi, non vogliamo rovinare la festa.